Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum students. So this is our third and last segment for the topic internationalization and indigenization of counseling. We're going to look at indigenization of counseling in Malaysia in this segment. Okay. There are still, some things that need to cover. Let's see. The first one, these are some of the studies that I want to share with you, which highlights the need for indigenization of counseling in Malaysia. As you can see, there are scholars, not only scholars from Malaysia, but also from the overseas, which show that there is need since, like here we can see from 2001, which show that, counseling is needed to be indigenized in Malaysia. However, the process is not easy. Gradually, we can see adaptation and integration being made in the field of counseling in Malaysia, but the process is quite slow. Let me share a brief summary from this previous literature regarding why conventional counseling need to be adapted. The first one is the focus. We know counseling is from the West and it is from the individualistic society. So, of course, we need to change that, when we are adapting counseling to Malaysia, which is actually our culture is more collectivistic. Second, the focus of counseling from the West is more on feelings mostly, and for our Asian values, we do not really encourage people to express their feeling. In fact, we ask them to suppress feelings. The third one, in the West, most of the counseling are more non-directive, but for the Asian, they expect counseling to be more directive, more paternalistic, more authoritarian, time-saving, and also solution-focused. This is what we see in our society. The fourth one, open confrontation that, might happen, especially for theories that subscribe to cognitive, behavioral, or rational emotive. This relates to the need for confrontation. However, for our Asian people, shame of losing face when sharing issues with stranger, with counselor. Counselor is a stranger, of course. So this is something which may cause us to think about the need to indigenize counseling in Malaysia. Also, the Malaysian perspective toward counseling or mental health services is actually different from the Westerns. And also stigma, there is still stigma in the society regardless of them having high educational background. It is still very much prevailing among our Malaysian population. So, this is the highlights or what the studies have shown. So the question that comes to mind is, what is the framework or model that can be used to indigenize counseling in Malaysia? There are, of course, many framework or models, but I am going to just briefly share a few. So as counseling students in USIM, you should be familiar with this model, the USIM integration of Nakli and Akli model. There are 4 mustawa in this model. An-Nusus, which is the use of Quranic verses, hadith or writings. Mustawa 2, the comparison of approaches between Islamic and conventional knowledge. Mustawa 3, the adaptation or selection, filtration, and use of principles, values, and framework which do not contradict Islam. And also Mustawa 4, which is combining or integrating various disciplines of knowledge that are not in conflict with Islamic principles. So this one you already know, inshallah. Okay, let's have a look at another model. Previously, when we look at the approaches of the other countries, when they are indigenizing counseling to their own country, we can see how religious and spiritual beliefs, philosophies can actually influence the process of indigenization. So in considering that, here I share an Islamic model of understanding how counseling can help clients in going through their life journey and thinking of the tasks that they face in life is actually related to Iman, Islam and Ihsan, and also the relationship of the client to Allah, and also their relationship with other human beings, and also the environment. So this is from the Islamic model perspective. I would also like to share here a proposed model for indigenization of counseling in Malaysia from my own research. A further elaboration of this model actually need another class, but briefly, I divide indigenization of counseling in Malaysia actually into two parts. The first one is the universal Asian values, or values that are shared by people who live in Malaysia even though they are of different ethnic groups. This relates to basic counseling skills, whereby we have to come up with a therapeutic alliance between the counselor and the client, directive, inclusion of guidance in our counseling, relationship focus, which is related to the filial elements in our society, and also collaborative team, whereby this highlights the collectivistic culture that we have. And also this is the other part, which is ethnic specific. It addresses or zoom to specific needs or resource within the particular ethnic group. Okay, so for example here, religious or spiritual practices, we can use ruqyah, we can use prayer supplication for the Muslims, Malays, and also for the Chinese or Buddhists, they can actually use meditation. This is an example of how we indigenize counseling within the ethnic specific perspective. Alright. Before ending the class, I would like to thank you for your attention, and hopefully we can have this class activity later, and I hope that the lecture and with this class activity that we will together do later can actually enhance your understanding of this topic, and thank you. Take care.